Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going over all the setups for Nighthaven Labs, breaking everything down so you can defend every site effectively. If you have any maps you want me to cover next, or other videos ideas, definitely drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you all want to see. But with that said, let's get into these setups. Okay, so the first site we're going to be doing is Command and Server. Now a lot of people hate Nighthaven Labs, and it usually always gets banned, but I enjoy it quite a lot. I think it's one of my favourite maps in the game. But anyway, we're going to start off in Connector. In Connector, you want to reinforce both of these walls. So these lead out to the Connector balcony. Just by here. And then let's head all the way back into site. We're going to head into Server. So in Server, you want to reinforce the right side of this wall by here. And you want head holes going across here. I've just got mirror just to like... Well, if you do want to play mirror, you know, mirror's quite strong in this site. Where your mirrors would go, but... Even if you don't have a mirror, you want head holes by here. You can always reinforce it back up after in case, you know, you just want to. But yeah, have head holes at the start. Now, we are going to go into IT. So for IT, you want to reinforce both of these walls. And you want to shoot that radio because it's trash. But yeah, reinforce both of these walls. We're going to head back into server now and I'll show you command. So for command, you want to reinforce the right side of this wall. So if they come into command hallway, you will see. And then for the little command center walls by here on to catwalk, you want to reinforce both of these walls by here, and you want to place your mirror by here. And then you want head holes by here, and then also by here. Some people, and I usually do this, I like to put a rotate by here. But some people just put head holes, but honestly, I think it's preference. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But yeah, I usually just put a crouch rotate by them. Anyway, now the reason you want to have head holes by here and not just a rotate is because playing in command, it's a really powerful spot to play. So, you know, if you go by here, you can hold, you know, you can hold two different positions. You can hold the command hallway, and then you can also hold on to catwalk. You can also hold on to the warehouse balcony door, and then if you just come around here, you can see a little bit into IT, but then you can also see the main breach by here. You can also see into electrical just by there. You know, it's a really good spot to play. And obviously, you know, they can punch that mirror, but that's why we put these two head holes by here. So, you know, you can have someone maybe playing in IT if the breach isn't open, swinging and helping. Or someone just playing in server and then peeking onto the balcony, sorry, not the balcony, the catwalk. Just by there. But yeah, that's pretty much what we want to do for server and command. I'm going to try and explain, you know, the sites a bit more and why I do what. If, you know, if that's not what you prefer, let me know, but it's what I'm going to try and do just so you guys get a better understanding on why I've done the setups like this, and why I believe it's what you should do. But yeah, let's move on to the next site. Okay, so now we're moving on to tank and assembly, and if you're wondering why there's 5 reinforcements left, because I want to show you where the hatches are to reinforce, and then there's also something else. So first I'm just going to start with the hatches. So coming from cargo, you want to head up these stairs, and then there's a hatch just round here, at the top of cargo. And the next one is going to be all the way in warehouse. So you can just go this way. And then after this, the next hatch is going to be in vending. So we just want to go around here. Loop around. And it's just by here. So that's the 3 hatches you want to get. Now let's head back down into site. Now, you want not head holes, you want foot holes all along the bottom by here. Looking into cargo. So if someone drops cargo hatch, you can shoot their feet. And then you want holes by here so you can shoot anyone at the top of stairs and also anyone just coming down. Right, now for nano, you want to reinforce the right side of this wall. And then you want head holes on the left side by here. Then coming over to this wall, you want to reinforce the right side of this wall. And then again, head holes just by here. And then up to the right, you want to place holes by here, so you know you can chuck a C4 over, do whatever. Now coming into tank. The reason this wall is like this is this is preference, you know, you can do what you want here, but depending on which side you do, so say you want to reinforce the left side of this wall, you want footholes at the bottom. And if you want to reinforce the right side of this wall, you want head holes. I prefer the footholes, so I'm just going to reinforce this side quickly. And then just ignore this a little bit by here. But yeah, you want footholds by here. Leave this wall just as. I used to put a rotate by here, but I don't really do it anymore now. Yeah, ignore that. And looking into Animus, you want footholds by here. And then of course you want to reinforce the Animus wall. Both these walls by there and there, if you don't know, this leads on to Animus delivery, and then that's assembly delivery just out by there. Now I believe that's everything covered. So yeah, I'd say you want someone playing an exosuit. You know, if they lose control, they can just come back around straight into nanotech, and then they can hold these holes by here. They can hold, you know, the vending stairs, sorry, the vending stairs hallway, so exo hallway vending stairs just by here. They can also hold the hatch just by here. And if they, you know, want to push back further, they can just come into nano. They can peek the breach maybe just C4 to deny the plant. If there's a mirror there, they can play off the mirror. In tank, you know, you want to play just on these stairs mainly, so you can watch the footholds. And then you can also play behind the tank to watch this window, or you can have someone by here playing behind tank, watching just by here and also by there. And then you can also have someone, you know, again back on these stairs. They can hold these footholds, watching the breach. So if they run around to the left side, or on their side, if they push the right side, then you'll kill them. And if they go to the side, the guy behind tank will kill them also. And then someone in assembly, the window is just down by here, so you could put Vert here, or you can just pre-place C4s, because they will usually bring a fuse or buck to try and get below. Something I don't see many people do is they will bring, I mean, in my lobbies anyway, I haven't really seen it much, but I do this myself sometimes. We're just going to head over into warehouse. And then we're going to head into IT. So I'd say just for the first, you know, 30 seconds or whatever, you just want someone playing an IT in case they do this. And then they can roam, you know, down here or whatever later. But say there is a buck or something, he can, this might not work too well with this shotgun, but they can play up here, and then they can get to the wall from up here. As you can see, that's the breach by there. They can do that, you know, they can obviously make it bigger and get it more, but yeah. That's just an example of what they can do. And then the guy who's playing up here, he can, you know, always rotate down and come for a flank later on. Yeah, I believe that's it for the sites really. There isn't much else to say, I don't think. But yeah, let's move on to the next site now. Right, now for our next site we have cafeteria and kitchen. So I'm going to start with the hatch first. You want to head up these stairs. And then we just want to go into meeting. Now, you want to do this at the very start of the round. You want to prep this barricade, and then as soon as you can jump out and action phase starts, you just want to get out and reinforce that hatch. It's safe. You can't die. Just be careful with that when you run back in, and if you go down these stairs, just make sure you don't get shot from this barricade. Now, you want footholds on the bottom, just by here, and then you want to reinforce both connector walls. Connector is just in here. You want to reinforce both these walls. I like to leave this wall just like that. Now, that's the only hatch just outside by there. We're going to head back into site now. Now, for cafeteria, you want to reinforce both of these walls just by here. These lead out into the lobby hallway. And then you want to reinforce the left side of the cafeteria wall. And you want head holes just by here. Then you also want head holes by here, so then you can look into cafeteria as well as vending. Then you want to reinforce the left side of this wall. Now, with this, I like to make a crouch rotate here, and I like to reinforce this wall just by here. That leads into storage. I like to sort of do a site extension by here, so you can play just in lounge by here. And then if you lose it, you can always just reinforce it again. So, let's just reinforce this quickly. Now for vending, you want footholds all along the bottom by here, because this is where the hatch drop is. This is pantry, just by here, and you want footholds going all along the bottom. You want to pop this hatch so you have an escape, so, you know, you want to play on these stairs, and then if they do drop, hang on, let me just make this a bit bigger. Just like that. Then you can also look onto the window just a little bit. You just want to play on vending stairs, and, you know, you can watch a drop. Just be careful in case anyone does rush from down below, you know. they can push from assembly and animus, so just be careful of that. Now, you do want people playing Vert on this map, because it is a very Vert heavy map, I believe. I'm not sure if that's what you'd want to call it, but that's what I'm going to call it. It's a very Vert heavy map. There's a lot of Vert the attackers can take, because you can all see this is all soft. Like, this whole top floor is basically soft. So you do wanna hold map control above. But yeah, I believe that's it really. Let's move on to the last site. Okay, so now we're moving on to control and storage. Now this site isn't that bad, it's just you have to hold the vert with this site. It's like kitchen, you have to hold the vert. But anyway, we're starting off, we're going to reinforce both of these control room walls. These lead on to cargo top, I believe it is. And then, well, that's pretty much it for just this site. And then we want to make a crouch rotate by here. So if you're on control, you want it on the left side. If you're on storage, you want it on the right side. You want to reinforce the left side of the wall next to it. Then you want to reinforce this wall by here. This leads into gaming, I believe. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the reinforcements actually on site. Now, the rest of my reinforcements are in a warehouse. You want to reinforce both the warehouse walls. Then we're going to head up to the top floor. I've reinforced both of these walls, so it's kind of just like the command and server setup. I've reinforced both of these walls by here, and then made head holes also just by here. Then coming into IT, I've reinforced both of the IT walls just by here. And then I also made footholds all along the bottom by here. That's optional, you don't have to do it, but I just like to do it. So if you are playing by here, you know, you can see them by there. And you can also see them by there. So if they are coming, you just shoot them and they're dead. But yeah, you just want people mainly playing upstairs and then maybe 2 on site, 3 above. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. There's not really much else to talk about this site. It's pretty simple, honestly. All you have to do is just hold the play the time, and then as picks go on, you can kind of play it how you want. Yeah, that's it for storage and control. And that's it for the setups. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and more importantly, that it helps you out in your matches. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.